Republicans unanimously voted in Mike Johnson, an extreme far-right religious ideologue from Louisiana.
This guy's a Christian nationalist.
He is a Christian nationalist.
When you're this much of a religious fanatic, there is no room for real democracy.
He is a very loyal soldier to the far-right movement.
A low-ranking far-right Republican.
Johnson, a hard-right conservative.
A hard-right conservative.
A hard-line conservative.
Far-right, far Christian right.
Far-right extreme.
Extreme. Far-right.
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 Much further to the right.
The reason this guy is speaker is none of us had the time to read his resume and realize he's David Duke light.
MAGA Mike Johnson, there's a reason why they call him that.
The MAGA faction, the anti-democracy faction, the far right, won.
Does this signal that he and his extreme views represent the Republican Party?
Mike Johnson has an affable personality, okay? These are the most dangerous types.
Hardline conservative, but palatable. He will say the craziest things with just the most mild-mannered milquetoast tone.
He had, this Ned Flanders vibe.
Jim Jordan with a jacket and a smile.
Jim Jordan with a jacket and a smile.
It was very clear that he was, despite that Ned Flanders vibe, a fire-breathing conservative.
Johnson is more dangerous than Donald Trump because Johnson actually wants to make America into a Christian theocracy.
That's right, gang. The teleprompter reading media, dutifully and faithfully reading off of the scripts composed by far left-wing activists, have declared that the new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, MAGA Mike as we like to call him, is a clear and present danger to democracy. Yeah, these woke cancel culture advocates, these champions of silencing any and all opposition and dissent, are accusing MAGA Mike of destroying democracy. Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor. This is going to be fun. It's fun because you gotta laugh at these people. I mean, these poor, pathetic, narcissistic, flailing, frothing at the mouth lunatics that comprise the legacy media. Their inflated sense of self-importance is so over-the-top cringeworthy. You just gotta laugh at them. You literally have to laugh at the utter and complete joke they've become. All reading off the very same talking points, all written by the same kind of woke left-wing lunatics. They're absolutely unthinking. They're buffoons. I mean, keep in mind, these people don't even know what a woman is. They couldn't even begin to coherently define a woman, and yet they're experts in democracy. I don't know what a woman is. Hey, but gosh darn it, watch me hit it out of the park when it comes to democracy. I mean, they're literal clowns. So, as you saw for yourself, the legacy media doesn't much care for our new speaker, Mike Johnson from Louisiana. And by the way, a big shout out to the Media Research Institute for putting that wonderful video montage together. No, as far as these left-wing activists disguised as journalists are concerned, Mike Johnson is basically a Christian Ayatollah. He is a far-right Christian nationalist theocrat, which of course makes me love him even more. Now, of course, what they're so upset about is that MAGA Mike, as he's being affectionately referred to, simply refuses to play the part of controlled opposition, a part that Kevin McCarthy played oh so well. MAGA Mike is obviously very pro-Trump. He voted to oppose certification of the 2020 election. He opposed all subsequent continued funding of Ukraine past the first package. He supported President Trump's so-called Muslim travel ban, so he's been a stalwart on border security. He's obviously very, very pro-life. In a nutshell, he's everything the left-wing lunatics in the media aren't. He's literally their polar opposite. And unfortunately, what we're finding is that contrast is bringing to the surface more explicitly than ever a radically anti-Christian bias among the woke left, most notably displayed by the White House's former chief liar, Jen Circleback Psaki.
Right now, one deeply religious conservative Republican is limping out of the race for president after failing to gain any traction whatsoever. Another deeply religious conservative Republican just ascended to the speakership and is now second in line to the presidency. One of the key differences between Mike Pence and Mike Johnson is, well, Pence refused to go along with Donald Trump's efforts to overturn the election in 2020, while Mike Johnson was a key architect of that plot. Apparently, there is still a place in the Republican Party for extreme Christian conservatism, so long as it's paired with a fealty to the former president. So let's take a few minutes to talk about this new speaker. First glance, Mike Johnson does seem fine-ish. Conservative, yes, but he once started a civility caucus with a Democrat. And I mean, if nothing else, he wears a suit and has glasses. How threatening can this guy actually be? Well, he gave us all a little clue as to how he would govern in an interview this week.
I am a Bible-believing Christian. Someone asked me today in the media, they said, it's curious, people are curious, what does Mike Johnson think about any issue under the sun? I said, well, go pick up a Bible off your shelf and read it. That's my worldview.
You heard that right. The Bible doesn't just inform his worldview, it is his worldview. In fact, during his first speech in his new job, Johnson suggested that his election as Speaker was an act of God. Talk about a bit of a humble brag there. So what exactly has God apparently called on Mike Johnson to do? Well, his views on policy are essentially what you'd expect from a religious fundamentalist. They're more divisive than they are divine. Prior to his election to Congress in 2016, Johnson spent nearly 2 decades working for the hard-right conservative legal activist group, the Alliance Defending Freedom. It's a group, by the way, that is so right-wing, it was designated a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center. The problem with Johnson isn't at all his faith. He's entitled to his personal beliefs, as everyone is, even if they come from the 18th century. But when those beliefs encroach on the rights of others, that's when it becomes dangerous. Whether the rights of gay people, trans people, or the millions of Americans out there who were entitled to have their vote counted.
Hey, gang, you may not be able to control who's voted into office or control what happens overseas or how interest rates skyrocket or the price of gas and groceries. But there is one thing you can control that will do something to stick it to the globalists who want you lazy, duped, overweight, and eating bugs. And this last year, I recognized it was my biggest weapon against these evil dictators. I could control my health. But I needed someone to help me get in control and lose the weight. Now, if we're going to take back the country, we have to take care of ourselves first. Tomorrow, November 1st at 3 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to go live at a free training session with my friend and health expert, Russ Yeager, to discuss how we can prepare against any kind of COVID shenanigans, how we can physically and mentally get in shape while still eating pizza and pasta, and prepare ourselves to be in control for 2024. Just click on that link below to register. This I've found is the most important thing we can do for ourselves and our children and our grandchildren right now. And my friend Russ, a patriot of patriots, is leading the charge with provable, helpful, and real results. Click on that link below and join us tomorrow and learn how to control your future in the face of uncertainty with me and Russ. I hope to see you then. So that's the theological illiterate Jen Circleback Psaki accusing MAGA Mike, our new speaker, of being dangerous because he's, in her word, a religious fundamentalist. That's how she pronounced it. Did you hear it?
A religious fundamentalist. A religious fundamentalist. A religious fundamentalist.
Yeah, that's right. Religious fundamentalist. That's what our Speaker of the House is, according to this theological illiterate Jen Circleback Psaki. Now, what you're getting from all of this is a clear portrait of the disdain that the woke left has for the eternal values of faith, family, and freedom. For them, faith, family, and freedom are not what we would call meta values, values that are eternal, that transcend time and space, that provide the foundation for a flourishing civilization. No, for them, faith, family, and freedom are actually enemies. They're recast as bigoted, sexist, patriarchal, all kinds of phobic. You see, the irony here is that Jen Psaki and her ilk are the real religious fundamentalists. They're the woke radicals that are attempting to impose their absolutist ideology on the rest of us. An absolutist ideology that even comes with its own Grand Inquisitor and heresy hunters. You heard her refer to the ADF, the Alliance Defending Freedom, which is an amazing conservative Christian legal organization. They've won numerous cases before the Supreme Court. They're the real deal. You heard her refer to the ADF as a hate group. Well, that designation, of course, comes from none other than the Southern Poverty Law Center, the SPLC. Unfortunately for Psaki, even the legacy media has recognized that the SPLC is a full-blown racket. It's a bona fide shakedown organization that turned grievance politics into a very lucrative industry. Their sole purpose of existence is to make tens of millions of dollars a year smearing conservative organizations and causes. They're a bona fide racket, but they're part of this woke jihad in that they function like the Grand Inquisitors looking for heretics. And the new heretics are people like Mike Johnson and you and me, all of us who hold the eternal values of faith, family, and freedom. We're now bigots, racists, sexists, all kinds of phobes. We're the new heretics. And heretics, by definition, must be excommunicated. Ironic how Jen Psaki is so unaware of her own fundamentalist predisposition, but that's, of course, what uncritical fundamentalism does. It blinds you to your biases. I, for one, am very excited to see that we have a new speaker that's not even been in office for a week, and he's already making these woke lunatics in the legacy media froth at the mouth. These next several months are going to be fun, as in fundamentalist. Are you ready to join the resistance? Because I'm leading a group of dedicated, courageous patriots who can lead a spearhead into the heart of the secular globalist establishment. We punished Bud Light and Target, driven CNN and the legacy media to near bankruptcy, forced BlackRock to backtrack on ESG, and now we're seeing our conservative-dominated Supreme Court ending affirmative action and protecting religious liberty. In my Insiders Club, I show you concrete steps to take locally and online that will only keep this mass uprising going until the battle is won. Don't wait. Click the link in my description below and join my Courageous Patriots Insiders Club today.